Hi, this is Miss Kathy coming at you from Shaler North Hills Library for more stupendous summer science fun.
Yay!
We are on my back porch again and we are going to make a mixture of our own super duper size bubble mix. Do you like to play with bubbles?
Yeah!
Okay, well you can make a better batch than you can buy at the store, and you can make a super size wand for super size bubbles.
Whoa!
Yes, so this was made out of a wire coat hanger, and I bent it to this shape, and I wrapped it tightly with twine, which is a type of string. So the whole thing is pretty tightly covered with that, and now we are going to make our mixture. It took a long time to sit there and wrap this, I will tell you, be warned, and that is why I did not think you wanted to sit there and watch me wrapping up a wire coat hanger. So I did that part myself first. But now we're going to do the mixture. We're going to use 15 parts of water to every 1 part of liquid soap. Dawn is recommended. And a 1/4 part, that's just a little bit of glycerin, or a little bit easier to find and use is corn syrup. So we are going to fill up this tray here with our mixture. So we are going to start out with, let's see, we're going to do 15 1/4 cups. So for big people out there, that means 2 cups of water, and then almost another 2 cups, 1 3/4 cups of water. I can't always see it when I'm pouring it, so I have to stop and check. You want to make sure that you are measuring as you go. And that looks to be about 1 3/4 cups. So that's our 15 parts. Then we're going to use 1/4 cup, and I like to use the smaller size measuring cup for measuring smaller things, of Dawn dishwasher detergent. So we're squeezing out 1/4 cup of it. And we are going to add the corn syrup as well. So we only need a wee little bit of corn syrup. Pour that in there. And I am actually going to run into the house like a speeding train and grab a spoon to stir this up very slowly with. We don't want to stir too fast because then we'll get a lot of bubbles in our tray. So let me grab a spoon. And we are going to stir with our spoon. Make sure it's all nice and dry. I'm going to get the rest of this soap out here first. And then I'm going to put a little bit of corn syrup into the cup. And first, I think we will open. It was a brand new corn syrup, so we still need to take the top off. There we go. Corn syrup is something that is found in many, many types of food. It's used as a sweetener because it's a little bit cheaper than sugar. We don't need very much of it. We'll try this mixture and see how it works. I have never done this before. again, we are experimenting. So we're going to pour this in. We're going to mix this up. Trying to mix it nice and smoothly so that it doesn't get too many bubbles in it. And once you feel that it is a good mix, you are ready to dip your bubble wand into the mixture. You want to make sure that all of the string that you wrapped around the wand is covered with the mixture. Okay, now what I'm going to do next is take this out onto our patio area because I don't want to make bubbles inside my back porch. I'm going to take it outside, but this was easier to do the mixing here. So come along over to the patio area. We're going to go through the doorway here.
Very careful.
Put that down right over here. And then we're going to try dipping our wand in here, making sure that it gets covered all over. So you want to make sure you have a nice flat pan to do this in before you start. Oh, there, we had a little bubble when we first lifted it out. And then it kind of popped itself. You can see how that is making a very big bubble there. Oh, it keeps popping before we get it all the way out. So let's see if we can figure out why that's happening. Maybe we need to add a little more of something. I am not sure. As I said, I've never done this before. Maybe I have to lift it out faster. I don't think this is going to work if we do anything. So, let me try this again here. There we go. We got it. And the whole thing is covered with bubble. Oh, did you see what a nice big
Whoa!
bubble? Let's see if we can get another one here. I don't know what was special about that time. Sometimes they just keep popping right away. So I may have to tweak the ingredients a little bit here. Well, we got one nice big bubble. Let me try adding a little bit more glycerin, and I'm going to experiment with that and see if that works any better before I have you guys back to watch. And once I get it working real good, I'll show you some more awesome bubbles. Okay? Okay, so what I did was doctor it up with adding a little more of the corn syrup. And we also experimented with taking our wand up out of the water. We think it works best if you lift it up on an angle. Oh my. It's been working very well, so we thought, oh, we'll stop and film it. And now it's not going to work because it's being filmed. Do you ever notice how that works sometimes? Okay, we have it covered with bubble. And it makes big loopy bubbles. We had one that was used and went floating off into the sky. But you just have to kind of experiment with it. And why this is happening is because of the water molecules in here. Whoops, we didn't get enough enough mixture on here, which we are making stretchy water. The water molecules hold themselves together by surface tension. Big word for you. Liquid soap weakens that surface tension, allowing water to be stretched into thin film. A free-floating bubble filled with air will always form a sphere, which is another word for saying like a ball shape. It's round. That's because the surface tension is pulling it back into shape, just like a rubber balloon. Let's see if we can get another good big one going here for you guys to see.
Whoa!
So that one didn't hold its shape. Of course, when we want it to, and it's not being filmed, it does. But you can experiment at home, obviously, if you do this.
Whoa!
And make all
That was giant!
different types of bubbles. So, have fun playing with bubbles, and remember to keep checking back. Go. So we had better luck with it as we played around with it more. And you can get several bubbles out of one thing. Maria got 2 there, but she's had ones where she's got 5 or 6. And here's one coming right at us over here. Look at that, and it's going to go pop. Sometimes you just have to play with things a little bit till you figure out the best way to use them. Thanks for showing us, Maria. Hi, Miss Kathy here with more Stupendous Summer Science, and this one is another variation on fun with bubbles. We are going to try to blow a bubble inside another bubble, and so on and see how far we can get. This has not yet been attempted, so we'll see. It's an experiment. What I have done ahead of time is I put about a cup of warm water into this glass, and I added a tablespoon of regular table sugar to the water, and then I stirred that up, added 2 tablespoons of dish soap. Regular dish soap. I use Dawn because that is what we used when we made our other giant bubbles, and that seemed to work very well. Use the spoon then to stir the solution together gently until all the sugar is dissolved. And that's why the warm water helps a little bit. The sugar dissolves faster in the warm water. You want to try to not get a lot of foam on it as you're stirring it up. And then you can do it with that liquid, but it actually said that it works better if you leave it sit overnight for 1 day. It makes a better bubble solution. So I actually left it sit for 2 days because I was not able to do it yesterday. And that is what we are at right now. We're going to give it a go and see if that makes it even stronger. So then I had a little pipette, which is not hard to find in stores if you do not have an object that's like this. When you buy them in the store, they have a tip on the end. I thought I had one that hadn't been cut off, but it's got like a little bubble wand on the end, and I just snipped that part off. So I have this part remaining, and I'm going to dip this into the bubble solution and then blow my bubbles. You're also supposed to have a very smooth work surface. I'm using one of my cooking trays from the kitchen, and I already put a thin layer of the solution for about 8 to 10 inches around the center of this pan so that it's a nice smooth surface. Now I'm going to dip this wand into the solution, bring it back out, and then I'm going to blow my first bubble. Nope, that one popped before I could stop it, so we'll try it again, but you can see how you do this. I want to try to get this first one a little bit bigger. Okay, so I've blown my bubble. I'm not sure now that the best way is to release the bubble. You're allowed to talk. Just pulling it away, the camera person, who happens to be my daughter, says. Okay, so we have one bubble sitting there. And now we are going to dip our pipette into the solution again and push it down inside the first bubble and see if we can blow another bubble inside there. Gently pushing through. So somehow we didn't get any on our inside bubble. Let's try this again.
Angle. Pull it up.
Okay, so there's our first one. I have to say things too. Now let's see if we can get this poked through and blow another one inside. First time we did it, it just kept making the existing one bigger.
Whoa.
Now we have to try to get that out of there. Well, it's a bubble attached to a bubble. I couldn't get it out without it moving out of the other bubble, but let's try this again. You can try this. Whoops, we lost our first one. You can try this as much as you want because 1 cup of the solution gives you a lot of bubbles to experiment with. So there we have a very big bubble with a little baby bubble next to it. And let's try this again, getting the one inside the other. Nope. Let's try it with this little guy down here. Okay, there we have another one next to that little guy. See if we can get this through there. Nope, that one went over and joined the other one. Now we see a tiny little bubble there. We got a teeny weeny, a medium size, and a bigger size bubble. So it's not working exactly as planned, but it's kind of cool the way you can manipulate these bubbles and work with them. There we go. There's our bubble inside a bubble, and with other baby bubbles attached. So you can keep playing with this and see how big you can get your outside bubble. You can see the outside one pop, but that's probably easier to make an outside one now on top of the one that's there. Or not. Actually, this is a pretty good bubble wand just for blowing them around. And we have a perfect bubble formed. So you can use pipettes just to blow bubbles out in the yard as well. Just make sure that you are always blowing out because you don't ever want to get the dishwashing detergent inside you. It would be not safe to drink or eat in any way. So blow out, and you can experiment with bubbles to your heart's desire. But we saw, oh, my bubble solution already came off. We saw different variations of ways to make this work. It also says you're supposed to have a very smooth surface, so maybe we should spread this out a little bit here. And remember, angling it when you're lifting it out is the best way, I think, according to my daughter, and it seems to work very well. Sometimes it wants to hook on. It's kind of like a snowman bubble with a head and a body. But play around with it, see if you can get your bubble inside a bubble, and then you can even go for 3 bubbles inside bubbles, or just more baby bubbles. Stay tuned for more stupendous summer science from Shaler. Bye. Hi, Miss Kathy coming at you again from Shaler North Hills Library, and we have another stupendous summer science project to do. We are going to do something else with bubbles. So I made this bubble wand. It's a different type of wand than we made before. This was made with a plastic bottle, and I cut the bottom off. So that is something you would need an adult to help you with, cutting off the bottom of the bottle. And then I put an old sock on the bottle, and I put it on and held it on with a rubber band. Now I'm going to put a little bit of my Dawn dishwashing soap here into the bowl. Just poured some in the bowl. I'm going to add another little bit of water to it. Just regular water. Make it kind of soapy there. I really don't know how much of this to add. I'm experimenting. And then I'm going to dip this sock into that mixture we just made. Squeeze it out a little bit because it's very drippy. And then I'm going to take the lid off the bottle and I'm going to blow into it and see if I can get some bubbles out of here. Not getting a whole lot of bubbles, so I think maybe we'll put a little bit more soap in here. I think my cut needs to be made up closer to the edge of the bottle, so I'm going to go get my knife and try that, because this doesn't seem to be working. So, hold on. Okay, so I went back and I cut off this much more of the bottle, and I pulled the sock up so that it is closer to the top of the bottle. It's not hanging down quite so far. It's a shorter sock. And I'm dipping it into my soap here. Bringing out a little bit extra, and now when I blow into it, you get a whole lot of bubbles. And if you want to do it another time, you can scrape these bubbles off and have bubbles floating through the air that are made up of really tiny, teeny little bubbles because they came through each of the little holes in the socks. And this is good for a bunch of blows, actually. You can get a pretty big bubble snake going here. So there's something I want to try with colors too. Hold on, I got to get some stuff to get ready for that because I didn't know if this was going to work. So I wanted to try this together so we could see that we end up with quite a lot of bubbles. So it's a different way of making a bubble wand. Stay tuned for more stupendous summer science. Okay, so now we are back and we have made another version of our wand. We can do it with a rainbow colored sock, and to do that I just use some basic food coloring and put on the different colors. I have red, and then I tried to make orange. Orange is a little tricky, and yellow, green, blue, and then we'll see how my purple comes out. When we're dyeing Easter eggs, we never get purple so good, but we'll see how this comes out. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to dip it in the soapy water over here. And it's going to make everything run together, it looks like, but let's see how it blows bubbles. whole lot down at the bottom or through this side here. Not sure why that is. It should be very wet at the bottom, but we're not getting, and all our colors ran together on the sock once we got it wet. So I'm not sure about how you would solve that problem, but that sounds like another experiment. Let's try blowing a little more here. We definitely have green bubbles coming through. And we also have green food coloring on our hands, so you want to be careful with that. Well, we have a lot of good bluish green bubbles now. I don't have much of the red, and I think I used more red than anything. Certainly don't have purple. Once again, having problems with that purple. So, but our rainbow didn't work out, but it's still a very cool way to make colored bubbles and to make your own bubble wand that's a little bit different than the kind you just blow a circle through. And then again, you still get lots of fluffy bubbles. Just make sure you wash your hands really good if you do this one with the food coloring, because it does leave your hands very dark colored. Or you can just do the basic one that we were having a lot better luck with, just blowing through the white sock and getting all kinds of good bubbles that you can play with. So all that was Dawn and a little bit of water, nothing special. So that is one idea for a new type of bubble on Stupendous Summer Science. Come back for the next one. Bye!